LegacyTV Dublin presents Conversation with Susuana on Afro-Carib Lifestyles and Achievers.
Hello everyone, you're welcome back again to Conversation with Susuana on Afro-Carib Lifestyle and Achievers. We're on LegacyTV Dublin. Like I said, you need to subscribe. Go onto our YouTube channel and subscribe to LegacyTV Dublin. Also go onto our Facebook page. You see LegacyTV. Click on it, try to like our page and share with your friends as well, because sharing makes it more, it allows us to build up our audience, and we need you to do that with us. So today is another beautiful day. I'm so delighted to have a guest here with me. She's going to give an introduction of herself, but before she introduces herself, she is a young achiever. I'll call her young achievers in the sense that she's one of the young African Irish achievers here in Ireland. She's an entrepreneur. She's more than an entrepreneur. She's a young woman with a vision that I think is great, or not greater than her, or a vision that she's going to bring to light. So I'd like you all to celebrate with me. I'd like you to welcome this young, beautiful African Irish girl on today's conversation with me. Brazil, how are you?
I'm fine,
Good to see you. Good to see you.
To meet you.
I'm so delighted to have you back. It's been a while now. I think this will be for years now that we had. The last time we actually had a conversation was when we went to the embassy to visit the Egyptian ambassador. Do you remember? Because I know even when you came for the fashion show, we didn't have the opportunity to really talk because you were so busy.
We had to work.
Yeah, you had to work.
That was what
so it's good to be able to just sit down, relax, sit back, and have a good conversation with you.
Yeah, definitely. It's
now, I know you, but I want the people out there to know more about you.
Okay.
So I'd like you to tell them who is this person, Brienze Lawrence.
Well, I'm Brienze Lawrence.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dublin and I live in Dublin.
Yeah. So tell us more. Yeah, you grew up in Dublin, you lived in Dublin, and Dublin is part of who you are.
Yeah, Dublin is home.
Yeah, Dublin is home.
Yeah.
Now, so tell us about who you are, who is Brazil, and how you start evolving as Brazil, because this is not how you started today. You started somewhere.
I woke up like this.
Yeah. So take us back to when you first came to Ireland. Just give us an overview of how the journey starts.
Well, I came to Ireland when I was young. I was lucky to have an amazing foster family. And I went to high school here, and then I went to college. I went to film school, acting school, for 2 years. And then I went further to do my degree in interior architecture. And then I did entrepreneurship study in NCI. And then I just actually finished an 18-month course in European hairdressing now. But in between that, I think in 2013, 2014, I founded a company called Brienze Lawrence International. And the main focus was originally for Afro artists living in diaspora, because prior to that, I would have worked with OK Flex and Reginald. He was an amazing person. He started Dublin Nollywood Film Festival, which later in 2011, which later turned into Dublin African Film Festival. Okay. And I was always...
What's his name?
Background. Reginald.
Reginald.
Yeah, Reginald. So we did
what,
that.
What were they doing when you were working with them?
So basically what it was, you know, the way that at the time I had arrived Ireland, there weren't very many Nigerians, but as we progressed, it became a lot of Nigerians were coming in here, migrating in here, and there was really nothing in terms of film or in terms of entertainment that they were really doing, especially from the film perspective. So Reginald founded Nollywood Dublin Film Festival, and the brain behind it was to showcase African films. You know, Nollywood is the second largest film industry in terms of production today. So when he set up that, then I was actually attending Gaiety School of Acting. So I was very, very interested. I was fascinated with it. The minute I heard of it, I went straight to him, and I'm like, I want to be part of this. And then I got into it. We shared flyers, we danced in the corner bridge. We went all out, and then I think we premiered half of a Yellow Sun. We premiered Last Flight to Abuja. We premiered a lot of film. And then at some point, we actually did our own production. We did Not a Freak.
Okay.
That was produced then. And, you know, it was going well. I think he's relocated now to the UK.
UK,
But prior to that, he was an amazing person. He did it from the goodness of his heart. And we that went in with him, most of us went in with the goodness, from the goodness of our heart. But you know, everything that comes within the African community in Ireland doesn't seem to last long the length of time, to be honest. Because again, we don't necessarily support ourselves. You know, there's always, when something is progressing, there's always that. And it's really sad because there are lots of us who are quite interested in taking Nigeria, Africa to the next level in diaspora. There's not a lot of support within the community. Within the community
itself. Now, that is great what you're saying. I'm going to bring you back to you. Yeah. I'm going to bring you back again to when you start up your own business itself.
Okay.
So, what was I know the business is about making money, but then sometimes when you do business, it's not just about the money as well.
Yeah.
There's a bit of passion that goes along with it.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about this, your company. You know, you're a young person starting up a business. There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And especially when it's a business that is not predominantly, but that is owned by an African Irish person.
Yeah.
So tell us about how this started, how everything started.
So basically, doing business for money for me wasn't really it. It's only in the recent years that I've been looking at, okay, how does this turn into money for me? Naturally, I'm very quick at identifying a problem. So when I see a problem, what hit me next is a solution. And then when I create the solution, then we look at implementations of the solution. So most of the things I've done throughout the course of my life up to date has been drawn from a point of passion. Passion drives me. When I see something that's not right, I want to fix it. So if I feel, this dress, we could do something, then I start to think, how do we make this dress do that?
Yeah.
So it's creating solution, and when you create solution,
do you know that
money is bound to follow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because the
people that really create solutions, they are the one that really makes the money.
Michael Zuckerberg wanted a platform where they could talk to each other, his friends could talk to each other, and wow, Facebook. The guy that did Microsoft
is the same thing.
Same thing. He was he wanted to make a computer something that you can carry along with you, and laptop was created. Dangote was producing rice and everything. You know, and when you look at it over the course of years, the labs that had solved a problem are there. Because if there's a demand for something, if there is a problem and you're creating a solution for it, people are bound to subscribe to the solution, and when they subscribe to it,
you tend to make progress of
it. You make progress. So back to BNL, when I set up BNL, it all started from the Dublin African Film Festival, so we were doing it, and then I knew as well then that I went to Gators Club acting, so I really wanted to be an actress at the start of my life, and every time I went to auditioning and what have you, the role I'm being asked to play wasn't very pleasant. I kept thinking, why can't I play a princess? Why can't I play, a lead character that doesn't have to suffer or something? And that was pissing me off. Initially, I was thinking, this is probably racism or something. But as I grew, I realized, no, it's not racism, because even when I integrated properly, because I came in and integrated, so I realized that a lot of my friends, so when you hang around with my other friends, they are probably worrying about a new boyfriend or a new pair of shoes or this or that. Whereas I am concerned about a whole lot of things, And I started realizing, okay, no, they don't have a problem. They don't have a story for you. No, they don't have this. They don't understand. So they don't know you enough to write a story for you. Because back in the 60s, what they did over here in this part of the world was, the missionaries, the priests, they all went to Africa, which means, and then when you're in school over here, they give you, my mom told me that, they give you those balls where you put money for the Africans, African kids. So as far as Africa was concerned, what they knew was that it was poverty, charity, giving places and all of that. And some of our Africans that had come here as well hasn't made it easier because we tend to still portray these help me now, I need help. So when you're portraying help me now, I need help, what you're going to get is a bunch of crowd who feels they need to help you, which means that everything you do, you still have to subscribe to it. To the Western world. It's okay to do so, but it's at the same time interesting to create something of your own. So mine was really finding, because my first parents are Irish, so it's more of an identity conflict. It's more of, I want to understand myself and I want to do something as Brienze, as an African kid. So when there was that window where I knew a bunch of my friends were all artists, they were all singing, but they weren't getting record deals or whatever, and I'm like, okay, good. I am going to create a movement. I'm going to create an entertainment company that specifically manages African artists living in diaspora. And that was how I started. Because again, when we went to our event, when we did the movie premiere and all of that, you could see that there were only very few Irish people in the room. Whereas they loved to come, but they didn't know that we were doing these things because we were only marketing it within our African community. So when I invite my parents that, oh, we're doing this, they go, we didn't see it online. I go, but Mom, we're doing this. And then they come, and when they come, they really enjoy it and appreciate it. And that just got me into, okay, why don't we try and get Africans and Irish in the same space? So the first, when we launched BNL, when we launched Brienze Lawrence International, what we did was, in the room, there were equal amount of Irish as well as equal amount of Africans in the room, because I made it my business to make sure I sent invitation letter. I told every Irish person that were involved, not even my friend, like people that I did research. We went all out. We sent letters. I sent over 100 letters. Like, I have address of every single studio in Dublin and beyond. So we went all out, and they came, and they were happy, and it was something fantastic, and everybody wanted to be part of it. And that was how I started. It wasn't giving me money at the time I started, but I was interested. I was managing Africans, and another thing is, African artists here, it's very difficult for them to break out in Nigeria as well. Because they don't even understand. Most of them,
like you said, the conflict of culture. They live half of their life in Nigeria. They live half their life here. Now they're trying to integrate back into African culture itself, or going back to their original place of country. It could be Nigeria, it could be Cameroon, it could be Ghana, and it is a two different thing entirely. Because even myself, have lived in Nigeria for quite a while now. Not too long, I say. But I tell you, I always have to find my root. And I'm always jealous when I see people going to Nigeria, especially people that I feel they were young, going back home, and they understand the system. Because I just don't know how to find my way there. Even despite the fact that I live all my life there, I'm like, how do you find your way?
Well, for me, I mean, back to when I started managing artists, what I did was, I brought my artist into the studio and I told them, I don't need another Rihanna, I don't need another Beyonce, I don't need a wannabe, everybody else is taken. You go into the studio, you pour your heart out. And then there's an artist that I manage who was amazingly doing well at the moment, and he was a pop artist, he did all the whole proper payday and all that. And then he came into the studio with me and he opened his mouth and reggae popped out of his mouth. Do you understand that? So what's happening is, because most of these young people, again, when they find a platform, it's always the European platform that they find. So they're trying their best to fit in. No, don't fit in. Be you.
Stand out.
And this was the number one rule with the guys I worked with. Every single person I managed knew that what's going to appeal to me, the reason why I'm going to have to manage you, the reason why I'm going to feel I can sell you is when you are yourself. And then fitting in, when you go back to fitting in Nigeria or Africa at large, it's like traveling to Spain. It's like going anywhere in the world. It's just the first thing, because I hear a lot of my friends go, oh, it's a hello, oh, they're going to rob you, oh, this is going to happen. But who knows you? Because back there, people are actually doing well as well.
They are doing well.
It's who are you hanging with? Why are you going? Are you going for holiday? Are you going for business? If you're going for business, have you done your SWOT analysis? Have you done your market research? What exactly are you going to do? Are you thinking you're going to go pick money off the street? No, just as it's difficult here to set up a business and run, So as it is anywhere else in the world, when you're relocating, when you're going to somewhere else to set up, of course there will be challenges. Of course it's going to be hard. Nobody said it was going to be easy. You know, I started going back to Nigeria since 2014 and I've never looked back.
Yeah.
You know, I've had someone took my money, I paid someone and they didn't, deliver. Likewise in Ireland, I've paid people to do jobs for me as well. Likewise anywhere else in the world. You know,
it could happen.
Exactly. So when I hear people go, oh, Africa, I sit them down and I go, what exactly do you know about anything? You go, oh, you know, when we go, we have to be guided. You know, you stay in the car. So
you're
not integrating, fam. People are going to have fun. You know, you have to go over there and properly integrate. Like you have to, just the same way you open your heart. I mean, it goes back to Africans living here that never left Africa mentally as well. You know, there are people who are born and
they just say they're not integrated,
but they never mentally left home. You know,
and that is how that started.
Oh yes.
So and how are you progressing with that? With the complaint itself, with the complaint itself, because like you're telling me, you guys are thinking right now of starting something different in Nigeria, or is it the same? Is it just the same entertainment industry, or are you pushing it further?
Okay, no, since then we progressed. Of course, we did that. We tried to integrate people, and some of our artists went on to get signed under proper labels, better labels and all of that. And I progressed further. What I was finding, there was a bit of we were facing certain challenges where we do programs and either people don't show up, or even when they show up, things weren't really going as fast as I wanted them to go. They weren't going in my pace, and I was trying to understand why. And as you know, people's management is the most difficult thing on the surface of the head. So I'm passionate, but I started growing into a space where, okay, well, you run a company, you have an office space, you have to pay for this.
You have to pay.
How do you now start to generate money to pay for this thing? So, of course, I started again, and then when I was complaining about, I'm finding this is difficult, because everything I did setting up B&L was try and error. So I didn't know much about business background. It was while I was studying, I went to NCI to study entrepreneurship studies, while I was setting up the company and running the company, and at the same time I was doing college and everything. So we made a lot of mistakes, and then I looked back and I'm like, all these things that I know today, if I knew them when I was starting, this would be great. So there is a problem here, because most people don't know how to set up business. And when we go, I run a company, they go, are you registered? I'm like, yeah, I pay my tax numbers. How did you do that? You know, I started having all this type of questioning from my fellow Africans, and I'm like, ooh, there's a problem here. People don't know how to do this. That's a business now. So we
and that is how you came up.
Yeah, we very
with this new initiative. Now, before you go into that, there's a new initiative which she started up, and before she started telling us about that, I want everybody that is going to be watching this to listen attentively to what she's about to say. She said she likes to identify problem. She did identify problem, and from that she started up an initiative which is called Startup. And the startup is about people, young people, older people, anyone. It doesn't matter what origin you're from, that is thinking of starting up a business. How does she help?
So what would you?
And you know the one thing, I should be having African. I'm not going to tell you. I'm having a summit for African Caribbean migrant women, which is coming up in October. No, September or October. We're planning it now, and you're going to be one of my speakers.
Okay. No,
so,
guys.
So let's put that aside. Now keep talking. Seriously. Keep thinking about it.
You're the one person.
You have to do that.
Pulls me into things like this. The one person in my entire life. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. So tell us anyway about this.
So I mean, we went further with the entertainment side of things. I pushed further, and I'm like, okay, how do I still help these upcoming artists without getting emotionally attached to them? So we came up and we're actually building a web application now that should be launched very soon. It's called Mixin. It's basically a platform to find an act, and I'm not going to go into details because we're still digging. But if it was your party and you're looking for an artist of any origin, you could go into it, do search and put your price tag and all of that, and you get someone who won't go too much into that.
So we talk about the startup.
We're still building that, and then at the same time, I came up with African Creative Summit. Because again, as well as identifying problem, I realized that Ireland is still a very new land in terms of entertainment within the African community. You know, and Nollywood, as you know, is the second largest film industry in the world.
Yeah.
So I had gone to Nigeria back and forth. I had watched a couple of Nigerian films. Fair play to them, but however, it seemed to lack depth, right? And the production, you know yourself, when any equipment is designed anywhere in the world, the second place you find it after the US is Nigeria.
Yeah.
But however, they lack the technical know-how. And it's okay. It's not, I mean, we're smart. We are very smart, but what we do is we always do DIY. Do it yourself. So when you buy cameras in other parts of the world, you intend to read the manual, just like your phone. If I ask you, did you read the manual of your phone?
No.
You didn't, which means you're probably using less than 30% of the capability of that phone. When you take that further to cameras and equipment, that's exactly the same thing. They're doing DIY. So sometimes it's just a button. When Sony produces a new camera or Red or what have you, they normally would go into when the studio buys it, it's their responsibility to come teach you how to use the product you have bought. But in Nigeria and other African countries, we buy these things and we don't even get trainings, workshops on how to use this. As a result, our film qualities aren't great. We still have to import DOPs from the Western world and the rest, even though we have Nigerians who are extremely smart and talented in this department, in this field. So I came up, I sat down with the guys from Nollywood, and I'm like, I've come up with a solution for these problems, guys. African Creative Summit that focuses specifically on the technical know-how of the creative industry. We actually launched that in April and it went bloody well. Wow. We trained people, we brought people together, we trained them on how to use different equipment, and you know, we have good partners now, and we're pushing for the next summit sometime within the year as well. So that went on. And then back to the start up your business. So because I've learned everything that there is to learn, and I'm still learning, obviously, and I've seen a lot of young people as well struggle on, I really have an idea and I want to start and blah, blah, blah. So I got involved in a scheme called Sprinters. What Sprinters did, actually brought Sprinters to Africa, actually. What Sprinters did was put a bunch of women together with ideas. We helped them develop their ideas from an idea stage of business. So you come in as a visionary, you leave as a CEO, because we would have done your business plan with you. We would have validated your business with you, and you're going and ready to run and sell. So with all of these experiences that I put together,
and I think with Sprinter you have to apply for it, and they only take a certain amount of people.
Only
I did apply for something like that recently. I didn't get the space. But it's good to bring it to light.
We did that.
It's good to bring it to light.
We're behind it, but what we've done now is we've involved in Brienze and Lloyds, and we're doing where we'll help you kickstart. Again, you come up with an idea, we'll go through the process with you, we'll help you validate your idea, we'll help you go through your registrations and everything. Within a space of 3 months, you set up and you'll be up and running. And we do that now, and I started it over here, and then I realized, wow, there is so many Nigerians living in Nigeria who wants to own a business, who wants to run their business, and there's so many Nigerians, Africans living here who wants to set up a business in Africa. So again, I solve problems. So we went very quickly, and we're actually setting up, we're looking to launch in Nigeria pretty soon now. We have a couple of partnership deals there. So we again help Africans in diaspora looking to set up companies in Nigeria. Will help them set up their companies. Looking to set up companies in Ghana as well. We cover Ghana. And again, once you have an idea and you want to turn it into business and make money, would help you, tell you if it's viable or not. If someone else is already doing it, and give you a unique selling point.
How to make it different.
Yeah.
So like Brienze is talking about, you hear what Brienze Lawrence has been talking about. She talked about a lot of things. She's diversified into different type of things. So if you are out there, because this is the purpose of this conversation, not just for us to have this conversation together, but for you out there to be able to pick something out of it and to see what Legacy TV is bringing for you. Like we said, on Legacy TV, we celebrate Africans. We celebrate African with the different. So if you want to know more about what Brienze is doing, you can contact us. You can now go on to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And go on to our Facebook and like us and share as well. We're going to continue chatting with her. But again, Brienze, you're welcome back to this conversation that I'm having with you. I'm actually really enjoying it.
Really? Okay,
and we've talked about who is Brienze itself, how you started off, how you went into starting your own business. and how you supported people during the process of your own learning as well, and giving back to the community as well.
It's key to give back.
Which is the key of everything we do.
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to talk about is this. Now, you were involved with me on the projects, which we did 2 years ago. We did an Afro fashion show in Carbon.
Yeah.
And you were part of that show.
Yeah.
Now, you were part of it because you became our hairstylist.
Yeah.
So, and it's actually really standard because everybody still see those pictures of those hair and they're like, okay, there's a twist to that. Because it's not just about making African hair, braiding or anything. You put a twist to it. Now, tell us about how this came. Like you said, every passion you do, you think of a business idea around it. So tell me more about that and tell us about how you're progressing in that area as well. And you're going to graduate soon.
Yeah, on the 10th is on graduation in that program.
Is the 10th of this month?
Yeah, on Tuesday.
Wow.
On Tuesday, yeah, it'll be graduation.
You should invite us.
You're more than welcome to come then. Yeah, with that, so this will bring me back to growing up a little bit. I woke up one day and I just started making hair. So no, seriously, I was never trained on it. I just woke up and I started making hair. I remember when I was, I think 10, I had a dream and I was in a complex and they were doing hair, they were doing everything, all sort of things in there. And when I walked out of it, I looked back and the sign on there was Brienze Hair Ward and Collections. I was very young. So when I turned 15, the first business I ever put my money in was to set up a hairdresser company. I was never there to manage it, but I invested into it. And since then, I always made hair.
How do you
invest
in that? Now we'll talk about that later. So let's keep going.
I never worked for anyone a day in my life. I never could do a 9 to 5, but I could work 48 hours non-stop. Okay. I do consultancy and all that stuff. One way or the other, we make money. But back to the hair. So I realized that I just started doing hair and I didn't know where I learned it from. I do everybody's hair, I do my friends' hair and all that. And then what was interesting is whatever anybody do on my head, I could replicate it. I could do it on someone else's head. So I very quickly identified, that's a gift there. And if I can even, once I visualize something in my head, I can bring it to life when it comes to creativity. So because I knew I had all this, I'm like, cool. So when I was growing up and I started mixing up with the African community as well, I realized that all you see when it comes to the African salons are always, salons and Mont Streets and places like that, you hear extension milk and all of that, which is great. But then I asked myself a very solid question. B, when you grow up, when your mates are lawyers, bankers, doctors, what do you want to be? Do you want to be called an extension law in Mont Street? Or do you want to do more? And I'm like, I want to do more. So that was why I went to college and did all that. And then when it was time to do my master's, I was like, which was 18 months ago, I was like, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. I did a master's in interior architecture, which I've got my degree in, but hey, if I study this, do I want to sit in an office and work? The answer was no, So I'd always loved hair. Now I've moved from passion to, I have to make money. And I believe that anything you do in life, you have to do it well. What is what doing well. Find a niche, be unique. What's your selling point? When it comes to business, you have to have that. So because of this, I'm like, okay, I have a couple of friends who do so much in me that we bounce idea off when it comes to business and career. And I'm speaking to a friend of mine, and I'm like, look, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. He's like, okay, if you do your master's in this, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, not much, but at least I have a master's goal. If you do masters in this, you've been talking about hair, and every time you did hair for people, it was always unique and different. Why don't you explore that more? And then again, one of my trips to Nigeria, I realized that their finishes and things is still a problem. So I'm like, there's a lot of expert trade in this part of the world, but there's no one-stop shop that's specifically dedicated for Caucasian hair. And that was how that came to life. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go study European hairdressing. Like, this is my calling or whatever this is. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with a twist and I'm going to do it well. So I went, where is the best European hairdressing college in Ireland. I did my research, found the place, went for an interview, and I got on it. I just started when you were doing the Afro program. And when you asked me to do it, I'm like,
we were excited about it anyway. Because it was going to be an opportunity for you to show us that creativity that is boiling in you.
But at the same time, I wanted to see, for me, when I do things, I put my heart and soul into them. And when it comes, I've always been passionate about Africa. I have always been proud to say I'm Nigerian, and I am a Nigerian with an exception. I'm a Nigerian who is working. I'm a Nigerian who wants to do right. I'm a Nigerian who wants to integrate. I'm a Nigerian, because we don't celebrate us. We don't celebrate Africans as we should. We don't spot each other. Those of us that are doing great, especially us Nigerians that are doing great, we're very skeptical about saying we're Nigerians. You meet people and they're talking to you and you go into deep conversation before you...
I think a lot of young youths now like that.
Oh, you're actually Nigerians, So I got to a point where when I read Afro, I just went... Everything lit up and I wanted to be there. I wanted to do it. And to be honest with you, I prepped to come to the head. But when I got there, every single piece that I did...
was different.
Did not come from me thinking at all. As I put my hands in their hair, I was just trying to, make the most out of the time we had. Time was a big
and
one.
What you can do with the hair of each person.
And some of them had their hair already done, even though we specifically
said, you brought up the best.
We specifically said, come with your hair, don't do this. But they came differently. So with everything that was presented to me, I had to make the most out of it because as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as someone who's creative, as someone with a drive, you should, when life presents lemon, it's your job
to make it lemonade.
To make lemonade out of it. I don't take no for answer. This is something, because whenever someone asks me, can you do this, the first thing I ever say is, I'll call you back. Then I go pick up my phone and go, how do you do this again? I Google. And this is actually helping, which is why I'm versatile, which is why I'm a consultant. I do this, I do that. I do skills acquisition, I do a whole lot. And that's just simply from, when I'm asking you do this, the first answer to it is, leave that with me. Leave that with me. And I always go back and learn. You should, nothing on the surface of this earth is impossible. If you can dream it, you can think about it, you believe in it, you put the hard work into it, eventually it happens. Because think about it, everything on the surface of this earth, outside the God created every other thing, it's been invented, it's been created by the likes of you and me. So if that person can do it, then why can't I do it? What makes them different? I tell people we're all imperfectly perfect in our own ways. It's your job to find your uniqueness and make the most out of it. You know what I mean? And
so that's a great message. Now I'd like you to, address the people that will be watching this. What do you want to tell them to take away from all this conversation? How do you want them to see you as a person, and what advice can you give to them?
Basically, I'm just Brienze. See me as just Brienze. I'm just Brienze. See me as just Brienze. But honestly, I believe everything is possible. Every single thing on the surface of this earth is possible if you can think it. Don't take no for an answer, and don't go, because I'm from this background or from the other background. I started from nothing, and I'm here, and I'm still going somewhere. So it's make the most of your situation. If you lack in something that you don't have, because most of the things that I've done in my life has been as a result of, I wanted to do this, I couldn't do that, and I did that, okay? I wanted to be an actress, and I wasn't getting proper role, and then I started getting involved in film production and how they do the whole background scenes and all of that. I read books, and I'm complaining about, there's no depth to some of the films that are being created in Africa now. And I got up and I said, you know what? I want to better tell my story. So I started writing the book. I'm actually writing the book now. So it's really all about finding solution to a problem. And sometimes when you start, it's usually very difficult because you have it's like brainstorming. I love brainstorming. You brainstorm. Nothing is ever refined. We keep growing on it. So is an idea. An idea would constantly grow. So when you have something, like I started BNL as an entertainment platform, but through that, I have created a consultancy. I have created a whole lot of things. And hey, I haven't thrown out the entertainment bit of it, but I have looked for a better way to still, work with artists, to still, solve the problems that there really is with entertainment, with creativity. It's not that we're not smart. It's just sometimes we lack the technical know-how of things. So I found a way around it to then create a business from an angle that actually tackles that problem. So if you come up with an idea today and you don't know what to do with it, bounce it off other people. And see, Westerners would always grow, and this is why. When a Western person knows how to make the top of a lead, you know how to make, say that's a pen now, I know how to make this button, they would find someone who knows how to do the top, and the other person who knows how to do the ink, and they come together, partner together, bounce the idea to each other, and grow. Voila, a pen is made. Because 10% of something is better than something than 100% of nothing. But our mindset as Africans, we are always very skeptical of
working with others.
Steal this idea. Someone is a lot of ideas that are being painted now are mostly from Africa. So what happens is when I advises,
you don't need to say that in low voice.
When you know how to do this, talk to people about it, get people to validate your ideas for you by bouncing it off other people. Because sometimes when you think this is a brilliant idea, 1,000,001 person somewhere else is thinking of the same idea. So you need to talk about it so you know what other people are thinking and find a uniqueness to what you already have. So learn, to collaborate with people, to
bring the best.
With other people, go with other people. Don't be afraid to bounce your idea and just grow. Keep trying. Failure is needed. You have to fail in order to win. You have to keep.
Thank you very much, Brienze Lawrence. I have so much enjoyed. It's like as if we should just keep going on, having this conversation, chatting without an end to it. But yes, there's not going to be an end to it. You can always follow us. You can, like I said, subscribe to LegacyTV Dublin. Go onto our page, LegacyTV on Facebook. Like and share. Go on our Twitter page. Tweet about it. Get to see more. And if you want to know more about this young, brilliant, aspiring achiever sitting beside me, you can always send us a message. You can ask more about her. Please share this video when you watch it. Tell a friend about it, and share it to the whole world and get them to see. So thank you again, Brienze. It's good to have you having this conversation with me. I've so much loved it. We're not ending here, but I'm going to get to see more of you with time. Now, before we go, we were supposed to have a big dance, but I guess we do the dance some other time. So
we do dance.
So thank you very much. Just to have a bit of movement and see. But now we do that later. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
LegacyTV Dublin, it's conversation with Susuana on Afro-Carib lifestyles and achievers.